That's strange. That that's strange. Hello, and welcome to episode 583 of Prog Review. And today I'm doing this one. This is Comus and first Utterance from 1971. Cool. And this is the reissue. This was reissued earlier this year, 2018, on the Esoteric label. It's got some bonus tracks and it's been digitally remastered. It's been rejiggered, everyone. It's been rejiggered. Yes, people have said, do Comus. I've said it to me before. Might as well do it. Comus take their name from Bacchus's son. That's right. Oh yeah. For if you know your Greek mythology, probably not. Do you know your Greek mythology? Bacchus, he's the guy who likes the wine, women, and the song. Well, he had sons. He had a cupbearer in the form of Comus, but he's more about nocturnal revelry. Nighttime dalliances. He is a figure of chaos. An anarchy. So yeah, whereas Bacchus is more about having a good time. He's a little bit more mischievous. So anyway, this album is, I say it's lauded by many people. I wasn't even sure whether to put it under the Prog Review banner, because people say, Darren, this is not prog. No, it's not. It's kind of, it's weird folk, and weird spelt with a Y. WYRD. You know what I mean. For it is weird. I don't know how to describe. Well, I describe it as, imagine if Black Sabbath wanted to make folk music. It's kind of like that, because they've got the idea of doing scary songs that kind of get under your skin, but with a folky kind of background. Yeah. Sorry, I was with the song Diana, but it's not. It's Diana. Oh, I think they sing it. They don't say it properly. They say Diana. It's all about a young virgin going for a walk in the woods, and various unseen beings or forces lusting after her. Who doesn't like a bit of lust in the woods? And there's a very interesting chorus of her name. Diana, and the vocals. Who does the vocals? Is it Roger Wooten? I've got the Wikipedia page here. Sounds like, what's his name? Mike Chapman from Family. There's a lot of that on this. There's a lot of that Larry the Lamb type vocals, which I quite like. But yeah, who doesn't like some woodland rape? So the band set out their stall with the very first song, and you go, okay, woodland rape. This is, the virgin's gonna get it. And we don't know if it's a man, if it's a beast, if it's a monster, if it's Comus himself. So that really kind of gets you, that puts you in the mood. The Herald follows this up, and it's the longest track on the record. It's 12 minutes 15, and this is the one I kind of I didn't not like the most. I liked the musical side of it, because there's lots of nice guitar bits, strummy bits. There's an acoustic noodly bit which I quite enjoyed. But yeah, the production on this is as rough as arseholes. It really is. Leaves a lot to be desired. It's got a real kind of homespun sound to it. And there's bongos, or as they call it, hand drums. There's bongos everywhere. Bongo fury. It's just the bongos. It's like, please stop. It was really exhausting. My ears have been all bongoed out. They are. But there's a lot of bongos on this. And this is followed by another memorable track called Drip Drip. And and there's parts of this where the singer reminds me of Jack Black from Tenacious D and other movies. You know when Jack Black goes off on that. This is, and I think he's listened to this record. He's listened to this record and he's stolen that from here. And this one's about murder, death, possible necrophilia. I think there might be a little bit of, oh, now you're dead, I can have a good old feel up sort of thing. Might be wrong. I might have interpreted it wrong, but after the first song, you never know. So, yeah, very creepy. Drip, drip, the blood. And it's about burying someone, burying a corpse. Maybe to hide a murder. Like I say, maybe there's a little bit of necrophilia in there. I don't know. 4 is Song to Comus himself, and this is a bit more kind of trad, and it tells you his story. It kind of tells you what Comus is up to, and I quite like this one. This has got more of it's more straight ahead folk kind of thing. The Bite, which is another depressing song about someone about to be hung. Again, some of this reminds me, again, it's got kind of a VDGG, Peter Hamill kind of vibe going on in some of the delivery and the lyrics. Again, it's all right. It's not one of my favourites. Bitten as an instrumental, I didn't really care for. And The Prisoner, which is about, I think it's more about mental illness. It didn't kind of fit with the the rest of the record. It was more about somebody losing their mind and electroshock therapy and stuff. So yeah, I mean, I'm not going to bother with the bonus tracks because, to be honest, I'd rather just talk about the actual record itself because that's probably what people know. So yeah, but if you are interested, bonus tracks are Diana, the single version, In the Lost Queen's Eyes, Winter is a Coloured Bird, and All the Colours of Darkness. I think they've appeared before in various reissues, so I don't think you get anything new here if you're buying this. I can't say whether the sound's been better or not because this is my first time with this record. So yeah, I mean, it's funny because even though it's like, oh, it's not really a satanic record. There's no Satanism on it. There's not really any mysticism on it, really. It's just dark places. I think it's more about the dark side of humanity than anything else. I mean, it's kind of hinted at, but I think it's more about the darkness within ourselves, and that's probably what makes it a curious record. But you don't get any of the like pagan imagery that you'd get in some folk music. That was lacking. I mean, yeah, they might mention like the fox or whatever, but there's no real references to paganism in this. Again, after listening to this, I've listened to this a couple of times now because it needed it. Played it to Verity. I said, what do you think? She went, it's a bit odd, Dad, isn't it? I went, it's a bit odd. It's one of those records that I think you probably get out and play just to say to someone, here, what do you think of this? Because it's a bit obscure. They might not have heard of it. It's one of those records. So after this, I listened to the Wicker Man soundtrack because I thought that was horror, wasn't it? But we're in folk. But that's a completely different prospects. It's a soundtrack album, and horror is knowing the story. But in that, there's more references to paganism and nature and the seasons and whatnot. So that works on an entirely different level. Like I said, this is, again, it's really interesting to think where it came from because it doesn't. I mean, I know it's progressive folk, but it doesn't really. I don't feel like it's a folk album. Just because it's 12-string guitar. You don't have like the vocal harmonies of a folk album. You don't have the imagery of a folk album. You don't have some of the tropes you get. I mean, it's fairly straight ahead stuff, but it's of no. I mean, it's genre breaking. But do I like it? I don't know. I don't know. I think bits of it I find interesting. Like I say, bits of the Herald I like. Drip Drip was interesting. Song to Comus, I did enjoy that one. That was a bit more jaunty. But yeah, I mean, it's an odd one. I recommend everyone should give it a listen at least once, because you can hear where other bands have borrowed from it. I mean, what's his name? Opeth, old Ackerfeld from Opeth is a big fan of this, and you can hear hints of that. The Storm Corrosion album. You can see where that came from. It's kind of almost like a tribute, not direct, but it's got the same kind of vibe going to it. And you can, I'm sure other bands have been inspired by this record, but I don't know. It's one of those odd ones. It's one of those odd ones. It's an odd one. It's an odd one, and I can see why people would be intrigued by it and be fascinated by it. But for me, I don't know. It hasn't got enough there to pull me back. I've listened to it a couple of times. It's interesting. Might put it on just to say, oh, what do you think of this? But I don't know. I'd rather listen to the Wicker Man soundtrack. Hey ho, who is there? That's Willow's song. I love that track. But then that's the nudie dancing, isn't it? That's what you need. More nudie dancing. Just think if Edward Woodward's character had given in to Brett Eklund, the film would have ended completely differently. It's always been on my mind, that has. But anyway, I've got to give it a rating. Right, I'm going to give this 3 drip drips out of 5. That's 3 drip drips out of 5. I think you should check it out, purely for the artwork alone, which looks like some sort of kind of werewolf kind of beast man. It almost again reminds me of American Werewolf in London, especially the way his spine is arching and that. So yeah, that's just for the artwork alone, fascinating. But I don't know, it's an odd one. But do by all means track it down and see what you think. And on that note, there's only one more thing left to say, apart from do check out the social media, thumbs it up, subscribe, whatever that means. Patreon, music.darrenlock.com, I've done all that. But more importantly, prog on, hey nonny nonny.